week 9 actually. I'm losing track of time. Before we get into today's video, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Pound that like button, hit that bell notification to be notified of other videos on the Panthers, just like the one today. And by all means, folks, leave some comments. Been taking a lot of rough ribbon lately, but it's okay. I can handle it. But I do love some of the positive feedback as well. All right, folks, it's in the book. Sunday's game against New England. Seen this game before. Seen this movie too many times. And the Patriots win 24-6. Not too much to say about this game. You know, the first half, I could see it coming. It was nip and tuck. Game of field position. Settling for field goals once again. And, you know, our offense just cannot score touchdowns. They just cannot sustain drives. And even McCaffrey back with the line that we have. And you got to understand, folks, McCaffrey's special. Remember the first 3 games. I say first 2 because he got hurt early in the Houston game, and we did manage to pull it out. But when you go back and look at the first 2 games, he was very special. But I think we have to really be careful with him because just coming back, he looked the part, but he still isn't in game shape as far as, you know, being ready to go out there and do what he does. It might take a couple weeks to acclimate him back in. At the same time, Sam Darnold's looking pretty sad. You know, I really bashed Teddy Bridgewater last year, but the numbers, you know, he had pretty good numbers with DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, you know, Robbie Anderson. And, you know, he did blow some games for us. He threw some stupid interceptions, fumbled the ball at the goal line in Green Bay. Just never really looked like he was throwing a deep ball. But somehow, folks, we managed to score. And we put up these incredible numbers to a point. I mean, we didn't have a lot of touchdowns, but I guess until we got to the red zone, that was the problem we had. But he would lead us down the field. But I'm not here to bash Teddy. I thought Darnold was an improvement, and it looked that way the first few weeks. And even, you know, I look at a game like the Atlanta game where we won. Man, Darnold put his body on the line. But the Giants game, and looking at the Minnesota game, and the Philly game, it's just some terrible throws. And, man, in this game against New England, you know, the 3 interceptions, you know, you got to look at 2 of those. And one, you know, you're in scoring position, we're in field goal range. That doesn't mean, that, you know, we need a touchdown. But at time to score, I believe, was 14-6. And, you know, we get a field goal there, it's 14-9, but it's still early enough in the second half. And when he throws the ball, just errantly throws it because he felt pressure. Right away, it was over his receiver's head, and you know, New England defensive player goes and you know, 60-some yards the other way. And that was a death throw right there, 21-6. You know, we get the ball again and get around midfield or so, and, you know, not to say we're going to score from that area, but he throws an interception, and, you know, the defense can only hold New England so much because I'll get to them in a minute, but enough to where they get a field goal out of it, and that's 24 points, 24-6. And even the first interception, you get DJ Moore in the end zone, just recklessly throwing the ball, an interception in the end zone. We needed a touchdown desperately. And throwing that pick in the end zone, you know, you're taking, again, points off the board. So if you take the one interception he threw, where the defensive lineman made a great stab on the ball at the you know, line of scrimmage. But, you know, you take that away, you're taking 3 off the board. If you take the pick 6 away, New England's only got 14. And if we're already in field goal range, it gives us 9. If you look at the interception he threw earlier in the game when he had DJ Moore in the end zone, if he doesn't throw a costly area, that's a field goal there. It's 14-12. Now, does that mean we win the game? Not necessarily. But I can tell you, if we're settling for field goals or if we're playing safe close to the vest and he doesn't turn the ball over, 14-12 game, hey, late in the game, maybe we get a shot. But, you know, this is too much, folks. This is a couple games that we really just looked. The Giants game and this game looks so lethargic. And it doesn't get any easier with the schedule. And starting out 3-0, I thought, man, Matt Rule and company have turned a corner. Joe Brady's a disaster. And there's another podcaster out there, and I'm going to give him a shout out because he does an awesome job. And he's probably the funniest Panther podcaster out there. The guy is hilarious. But it's Pat Coltrane. If you haven't seen Baby Bubba, Pat Coltrane, I'm giving him a shout out. Does a great job. But he even said it. He said, look, man, you know, Joe Brady doesn't have a playbook. He's got a play sheet. I mean, he's not creative with his plays. It's so vanilla. People see what's coming. And I'd like to know how come every other freaking team in the NFL, they'll get to a 2nd and 8, and they'll find a way to get 6 or 7 yards with a little screen pass or whatever it is, or dump to a running back or whatever. You know, tight end out, whatever, curl in, whatever it may be. Or they get to a 3rd and 5, and sure enough, they're going to pick up 5 or 6 yards. Cannot we borrow these plays and put them in our playbook? Why can't we, when we got a 2nd and 8 or a 3rd and 5, why are we always marching off the freaking field? Why cannot we convert and keep moving the chains and get some points? Because our offense right now, folks, is so inept and so bad, it's draining what is good about our defense. Because our defense doesn't have confidence. If the fans don't have confidence in this offense, and the offense out there looks like they're just going through the motions, they don't have any type of confidence, what do you think the defense? The defense is going to know, well, we can play our guts out, but unless we have a pick six or whatever it may be, you know, our offense is going to get off the field quick and put us out there longer, and it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I can get on the defense a little bit. You know, Mac Jones. And a lot of people, before anybody says this, there's people, we should have drafted Mac Jones with the 8th pick. Bullshit. He's a game manager. He's decent. He looks good, but he's not a franchise quarterback at number 8. And I got news for you. With Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator, when Matt Rule being the head coach, and when the offensive line we got, I got news for you. Mac Jones would have been just as atrocious on our offense, especially being a rookie. You know, Bill Belichick, I don't like him. He's a cheater, but he can coach. That's a fundamentally sound defense they got, and that's why they're in these ball games. They don't have a lot of talent. We got more talent than they do on offense. But they got a game manager for a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over much. You know, they've got a running game, they got a good offensive line, and they got a sound defense. And they're well coached. And that's how a team like that, better coaching, sound technique on defense, offensive line, game managers, good game plan. I don't care how talented we are on offense. If you can't be coached up or the playbook's not right, you can't win. And our defense, you know, they're tired of being on the field. And folks, I know, you see Robbie Anderson on the sideline getting Sam Darnold, you know, making him look like he's going to cry, suffering. Sam Darnold's very fragile right now. And man, if you think DJ Moore's going to stay and play here the way we're going, and they're frustrating off, the wide receivers are frustrated. And I thought this was the deepest wide receiver class we'd had. You know, we need offensive linemen bad. And our defense, man, as good as it is, I mean, I know we miss J.C. Horn. And I know that our defense cannot stay on the field the whole game. But even at times, I mean, our defense is like, wow, you know, we're down 7-6. We're cutting into that lead. And then our damn defense just let stupid-ass Mike Jones in New England march right down the field and score a touchdown before half. So, I mean, the defense, I mean, you know, the offense tries to make somewhat a headway and get right in the game, and the defense just lets it slide right back. And if I sound a little depressed or deflated or, man, he's just moody, you're damn right. Because I'm dedicated to this team, and I love this team. But, man, when I pay to see a movie to be entertained, that's what I want. I don't go to see a movie that has no sound or the picture flickers or it's out of focus. You know, I go to see the film to hear it, to see it, the quality, the whole 9 yards. I can talk about it later. it's hard to sit back and eat my popcorn with my Reese's Cups and my big gallon of Coke watching this disaster. Because, folks, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's great to have a good defense, but when your defense starts to look average because your offense gets off the field so quick and you can't, your offense just pitifully can't score. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. And it's not like I'm one of these individuals, you know. I know Cleveland Brown fans have suffered so long, Detroit Lion fans, and they're in there, they're used to losing. Well, you know, I understand. I'm not one of these people like Patriot fans that I do know in the area or you know, fans of teams, other teams that win like Dallas all the time, the fan base they have, that once they start losing, you know, they'll go away. You know, I'm dedicated to my team. But it is hard to take my Sunday afternoon and watch a team it's not entertaining. It's not good football. And it takes the life and air and the sales right out of your weekend. It really does. And hey, Joe Brady, I'm sorry. He's got to be canned. This season's over, if not before. It's terrible. That was a big mistake. And, you know, good luck to him if he gets the head coaching job. And Matt Rule is either going to leave on his own or David Tepper probably going to give him one more year, one more shot. I think Federer's safe. And hey, you do know if Matt Rule's out the door, he's taking Phil Snow with him. And I just hate for regime change again. Because I'm sorry, this goes back before Rule. Rivera, even in the good years with Gettleman or somewhat Herney, and having Cam and Kuechly and Olsen and TD and all the great players we had, it was how good the players were. Ron Rivera was not that good of a coach. He was good enough, but we won, and won not because of him. We won more or less in spite of him, you know? So, folks, it's just kind of a depressed state to be a Panther right now, because when you see Jacksonville beat Buffalo, and you know, they're not killing it on points, but when they're going in there and winning a game, and you see the heart, and the guys are trying, and they're buying in. The problem I got right now, I'm worried about Matt Rule and his coaches. It looks like the players aren't buying in. It looks like they're giving up. And especially when I see that offensive line, they look dead in the water. And I know Matt Paradis got hurt. We lost him. I don't care. Feel bad for him as an individual, but that dude was a train wreck. If that means Tecklenburg's out there, somebody else at center, and they don't do any better, well, at least they're getting some experience. But we got to move on from some of these people, man. They're a joke. And we got to do a better job of finding an offensive lineman through free agency or through the draft, because I'm telling you, that has been a problem for this team for many, many years. And now you're really starting to suck at the quarterback position, and franchise quarterbacks do not grow on trees. And this is the first time I'm going to say this out of my mouth. I love Christian McCaffrey to death. And I don't get upset with him because of his injuries, because it's one thing to be injured last year after he had the year before such a great performance. This year's a hamstring, so it's different, and that's not a career injury, but it's something you have to monitor, because you don't want to stress that injury again, because he's probably done for the year. But we're wasting his greatest years. And we're almost better, in fact, to trade that man. And I love CMC. I love him to death. But we're almost at this stage, we're better to trade him and get some good draft capital and rebuild than to sit here and see him waste his career for this team that has no head coaching leadership, no offensive-minded scheme player from the coordinator, and the lack of depth at the line, and the inept situation at quarterback, and the overly impressive but talented on paper wide receivers, but yet on the field are under impressive. So, folks, what do you think of today's video? A little depressing, huh? Leave me some comments. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos like this on the Panthers. Pound that like button. And by all means, folks, subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. I'll see you next time on another episode of Carolina Sports Guy.